when I was deployed across, and Georgia didn't want anything to do with it. And I thought, that's a good decision, we don't want anything to do with it. And so then she stayed in military housing while I was in Korea. And I was there 11 months, or thereabouts.
When we were first married, we had Kenny rented us an apartment in Daly City in San Francisco. And we got there and the people hadn't moved out. They were building a home, and so they didn't move out of our apartment, which meant we didn't have any place to stay. So we got a motel, and that lasted about 3 days, and we were broke. So he had rented an old house in San Francisco with 6 other naval guys. He called them and he said, could my wife and I move in with you? So here we come. It was a 3-story house, and they gave us the top floor, which was a bedroom and half bath. We all used one bathroom on the main floor. Of course, they kept getting orders to Korea, so we kept losing people. They had all gone together and bought an airplane at this time. And since everyone was leaving, we ended up with the airplane. And Kenny couldn't afford me and the airplane, so we had to put it up for sale. It was needing to be refabricated anyway, so we couldn't afford that. And but it was very interesting living with these guys. One of the fellows was a psych major, terribly bright guy, and for entertainment he would hypnotize Kenny. We'd have friends come over, and you know, he could put him under just like that.
It's another Kerns game.
and then they would take a pin and stick right in his arm. Kenny didn't even know it. Isn't that terrible? Bob
Once
Shaw.
again, victims,
Yes.
not players.
Not players.
I remember Bob Shaw would put all his clothes, his dirty clothes, in the bathtub. So if you wanted to take a bath, you'd have to talk to Bob first, because you'd have to take his laundry out of the bathtub. And I remember we had in the living room, we had a gas fireplace, and it got cold one day, and I didn't know how to start it. Well, there was a man had the basement, so I went down and knocked on his door, and he came up and started the fireplace for me. I wasn't very long after that when 3 police cars pulled up to our place, and these officers all got out with their guns and went down, handcuffed him, and took him away. And here, dumb Wyoming girl had gone down there and had him come up and light our fireplace. I never did hear what happened to him.
Huh.
Such is city life.
I don't know if they all know the story about when you were hit by a car.
Oh yes, I was, and that was Memorial Day.
Labor Day.
Labor Day, excuse me, Labor Day.
In California?
In San Francisco, Golden Gate Park. Some friends had asked me to go to the park with them, and they had a little boy, and we were crossing the street, and the little boy's hat blew off, and I bent down to pick it up, and this car didn't see me and hit me and knocked me over and then ran over me. So here's Kenny at the dispensary, and they come carrying his wife in. So that was a shock, yeah.
Did you break anything?
Oh yes, I had scars from it still. My ankle,
I know
my
that.
foot, my leg.
But we settled for $30.
Just about that bad. The insurance.
Could have got you 40.
Attorneys were cheap at that time.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so Georgia then worked at the Santa Ana Register. I got aboard a troop ship, went to Japan, from Japan to Korea. And I ended up getting stationed with a helicopter fixed wing observation unit north of Seoul. About 30 miles north of Seoul. We were right on the
Yeah.
demilitarized zone. And it was good duty. It was great duty. There was only about 90 of us again in this small unit.
This housing where I lived in while he was gone was all servicemen and their wives. And their wives would be in the same situation I was. The husband was gone. And you just can't imagine how nice people were to you. I remember stopping once on my way to work to empty the ashtray in the car, and a car pulled up and this man said, "Can I help you?" And it was one of the fellows in the service. He just saw my car was stopped and wondered if there was something he could do to help. They were just very, very good that way, because their wife was going to be by herself too.
Yeah.
Jorja and I talked today, the memorabilia of our military life, we didn't keep any of that
I
stuff.
was gonna ask you if you kept
Isn't it
any.
terrible?
We have
Yeah, I love
plenty
it.
of shoes.
Yeah.
I don't know where we left them. We had them at Blacktail, so somewhere between
You're in Blacktail?
and here.
You didn't keep any of your uniforms or any of your medals or anything like that.
Which is, that's too
The
bad.
only
'cause-
thing I have are my dog tags.
Okay.
And
And Finn lost.
Finn lost him?
Yes,
but the duty at the helicopter group, it was a great group. It was very, very tightly knit,
Yeah.
but, and the difference between ranks meant very little.
Yeah.
Very little.
Yeah.
And then when that unit broke apart, I didn't have enough time to be reassigned, and they sent me back to somewhere in Japan. And it's funny, I can't even name those towns.
No, I thought you spent. Did you go to Atsugi in Japan?
I think somewhere.
We're there. Okay. 'Cause
And a
that's-
Tommy,
Okay. Yep.
a Tommy and Atsugi.
Yep. And Marcus was stationed at Atsugi. That's where his base was.
Oh,
And, but as I say, I didn't keep any of that. I have a certificate. They give everybody that was aboard that damn troop ship when you cross the, what's
International date line.
not the DM, the parallel, the line that separates the
Dateline?
The international date line.
international date line. And they give you a certificate that you were,
Yeah.
at the time you
The
crossed
log.
it. Yes.
Yes. Yep.
And I
On
didn't
that.
keep any of that stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
Mark?
I suppose there's pros and cons to that, because on the Fuller side they keep everything, and so you got so much that you don't know what to throw away and what to
Really?
keep. It's our cooking granddad's their storage room downstairs is as big as this room here, and it's just filled with things.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that reflects an officer more than it does an enlisted man.
Mark's
Because I wanted to get out of it as soon as possible,
Yeah.
as quick as possible, the easiest route.
Yeah.
And for military officers, they're in it for lifetime.
Yeah. Were you you just served 4 years?
Yeah.
And then did you come back here?
And I came back, and Georgia met me at Treasure Island. I had my discharge papers. No, you didn't meet me at Treasure Island.
Because we talked
No,
about
I
that.
flew. Then I got my discharge papers at Treasure Island,
I met you in
and
Los
I flew to
Angeles.
Los Angeles.
And what year was that?
Well, we were
It would've been
55.
55.
55.
Mhm.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
what was your rate? You were a corpsman. What E4?
E6.
You were an E6.
I went up as fast as you could go.
You were first class. Was
Yeah.
you first class petty officer?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But it was also one of those times where it seemed like being promoted or elevated was relatively easy.
I was saying that is quick in 4 years.
Yes,
to
I
make
took a
E6.
test every time
Yeah.
and got another pay grade. And at one time, they did
Yeah.
brainwash me for officers training. And I just couldn't commit myself to that kind of time. I
Yeah.
just didn't want it.
Yeah.
I wanted to come to pastorate.
Yeah. Yeah.
The same
Does that
thing.
sound familiar?
Oh.
Yes, it's terrible, Chelsea.
I think
Eerie.
Chelsea's reliving what you. Yeah. Yeah. This is eerie a little bit.
Yes,
January weddings. From
Yeah.
there on,
Yeah.
wanting to get home. I get
yeah, I
it.
wanted to get to pastorate.
Yeah, I get
And I
that.
was so proud to show Georgia off and to show you my home and pastorate. And it didn't take long till it got very crowded, very fast, too much family.
Yeah.
And that's when we moved into the apartment.
Okay.
And that's when we decided to move to Inglemoor.
Mm-hmm.
The ranch was there. The hired man and the couple that had run it had a divorce, and he was getting split out, and So Georgia and I loaded up the little green Jeep pickup, and off to Ingomar we went. Pretty simple.
And celebrated Dana's first birthday.
Up there. Dana was born down here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, then Creighton was born up there.
Yes. Well, no,
Creighton-
actually Creighton was born in Sheridan,
Okay.
but we were living at Blacktail. I
Okay.
had a gynecologist I liked so much in Sheridan, so that's where I went to have him.
Did you do the same with Blaine, or?
No, Blaine was a Forsyth doctor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Being you guys were so far out, when it was delivery time, I mean, what'd you
Well-
do? Did you just stay at home, or?
No, I had to come to Sheridan and stay with my folks while
Okay.
expecting
That's when-
Creighton.
That's when the second one was born.
Creighton, yeah.
Yeah, but when
What Blaine?
Blaine was born, we stayed in a hotel
Mm-hmm.
upstairs in the Audi Hotel,
Okay.
waiting for delivery. And that's when I swam the horse across Blacktail to get to see my new son. I can make a great story out of this. I left my horse in the stackyards on the other side of the creek, because the creek had come up, so I wanted to have a horse on that side as well as a horse on this side to get from where we lived to where the stackyard was. And when I was swimming the horse across, then damn it, it was much deeper than we thought it was. And the mud had drifted in on the tracks to where Pollyanna lost her footing, and she upset in the creek. And I was holding a sack of bones. They had served steak that night, Georgia, for you and I and Dad. And I was bringing the steak bones home to our dog that was here at the ranch. And of course, I fell in the river. The sack got wet. Everything fell out of the sack, but I was still holding the sack when I came out the other side, and my horse turned around and went back to the stackyard. So now I'm living here, no horse, and the stackyard over here.
How'd you get back across? Did you?
I went clear up further north and found a reservoir I could cross on. The creek was running strong, but the reservoir had detoured all the high water.
Were you on the trip when we tied the rope around your dog and threw the dog in the creek?
Yes.
I know Brendan, your brothers were.
Yeah,
Oh,
wasn't that the one when we had sinker and floater?
Yep, that's where that
yeah.
band came from.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was that same trip. Yeah, that was quite a story.
So it's a lot of genetic similarities. Stuff just runs in the blood to sink things and float things, and whether they be living animals or human beings. So it was Maverick we tied the rope around and pitched him in the creek.
Might have been both of them. Cause we did do it with
Yeah.
Maverick, but Boone would have been around at that point
Yeah.
too.
We tied the rope around your dad.
I've heard that story time and time again.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's this one?
Well,
Oh, that's another story. Huh?
Yeah.
When we finally find the trail off the Sardine Lake country, we're headed for the Little Horn Cow Camp. It's this time of year. It's June.
Oh man, so it would have been high.
Yes, it
that's
was.
exactly why.
And Burton and I spent half a day trying to find this trail that we knew was there that had disappeared. And when we finally fell off of the dam, now this is the Kerns Joslin Trail.
Have you
Yeah,
been
I
down
know.
it?
I've been up and down it a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Catherine,
I don't know if you experienced it before I don't know if they ever get cleaned
it's
up
it.
or not. But
I was
it
gonna
sucks.
say it's the last 4 years 4 or 5 years we haven't done anything as far as maintenance on it.
Yeah,
And so yeah, I took horses and cows off it last year though.
I got stuck on it.
Yeah.
They need to rebirth it.
Oh,
And
it's
you
a
have to.
shortcut, but my
know if
golly,
she has not.
it's a bugger of a trail.
Well, no,
But when
I
we
never
finally
did
got
think
off-
it was so bad.
We finally hit Rock Cabin Park. It's 5 o'clock. But we're headed for the cow camp. And of course the kids are excited because we're finally going to get to the cabin and all of those, but we had some bacon with us. That was the only thing we had.
Yep.
And we get to that damn river, the crossing there at the cabin, and it's roaring, so Burton and I refuse to let our kids cross it. So then the only thing we can do is pitch camp somewhere. So we go up there with the beaver ponds, and we have some bacon, and we get the bacon out of our bedrolls, and they roll it up on some sticks to eat dinner, because the kids will be there in a half an hour.
30
We've been there
minutes.
before. And that bacon had an impact on Blaine that was sort of bad, because he'd eaten too much raw bacon. So then we went on out to the green cabin, and that morning,
Cross
the
up
river
there.
is down considerably at that time, but we still tied a rope on the kid. I went across first, and a rope back. We had two 30-foot lariats tied together with the kid in the middle. And as they'd ride across,
that way.
and the
right.
horse went down, we'd still have the kid.
You just cut him in half, but
Yeah, I was gonna say you both pulled tight, and
Valley.
then just suspends him above the river.
And Kevin, I still remember, as he was crossing, he was just petrified. But he was singing, no, bless my homeland forever.
Edelweiss?
What's the name of that?
Edelweiss?
Huh?
Edelweiss?
Yeah. Kevin was singing that, trying to calm himself down.
I only
As
know
we
that
got-
song from the movie The Sound of Music.
That's where it was from, yeah.
Yeah. Huh?
Yes.
So,
We're getting too far away. Go
no,
ahead.
no, sorry. We're gonna do one more, and then I'll let you rest here. What is the most important thing you want us to pass along